Do you guys know what MTV is? Now, MTV, when it started, it was monstrous. MTV was absolutely monstrous. So, MTV had this thing called the MTV Icon, which was like a big to-do. Before they had I think it was even before they had the MTV Music Awards. So, MTV, Metallica, they're gonna tribute, it's called MTV Icon for Metallica. Now, I get the call from Metallica. MTV didn't want me. Metallica asked for me to be on. I believe, no offense to you, David Spade, I believe the exact words were they want David Spade because he's hip and he's Hollywood and blah, 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 blah. And he's very talented, a great guy, and I know him. But Metallica wanted me to be on the MTV Icon. Thank you, Metallica. MTV calls me and they say, we're going to give you the details on how to come out to California. They were filming it in California. They called up and they go, we're really sorry, but there's no more flights to come out to LA. We can't get you on the flights that we need you. They needed me there for rehearsal. And I said, he goes, we have a question for you. Would you have a problem with coming out on the MTV private jet? Now, first of all, I've never been on a jet. Like, to me, sitting at that, anytime, I wasn't even flying first class at that time anywhere. Okay? So I said, yeah, I'll be on a jet. No problem. No problem. And they go, okay, well, you got to can you be there tonight? I said, yeah, I'll be there tonight. So, I get in a car and they send a car and I go to Teterboro Aircut. You know what's scary? I'm crystal clear. And I say these things. So I don't, maybe I need some brain fog stuff. Do we have any supplements for that? Teterboro Airport. So I go to Teterboro Airport, and there's a private jet. And I get on the jet, and this thing, on my life, it had couches. It had like a living room area. It had this other area where you sit down. It's like a booth. And the booth, now this is like late 90s somewhere. And there was a flat screen TV before they existed on the plane. You pressed a button and this would come up. And there was like filet mignon in there, and there was shrimp, and I'm totally white trashing it. I'm taking a shrimp and I'm shoving it in my pocket. I'm taking a filet and I'm putting it in. I'm opening all the drawers and any little dooze of alcohol I'm putting in there. And the pilot comes out. And all my life, he's not dressed like a pilot. He's just dressed like a regular guy. And it was me and my wife. And he comes out. He's like, so, it should be a short flight to California, like 3 hours. Like, 3 hours? That's like, it's usually like 6. He goes, yeah, we're on the jet. The only thing is we're waiting on one other guy. We just got to wait for Ozzy Osbourne to get here. What did you just say? He said, we're waiting. This is Ozzy Osbourne's plane, so we have to wait for Mr. Osbourne. I'm on Ozzy Osbourne's private jet. So I started stealing more food. This is Ozzy's shrimp. This is Ozzy's chicken. This is Ozzy's potato chips. I'm on Ozzy bird. So I'm waiting for Ozzy to come, right? And I'm like a child just sitting there going, when's he coming? When's he coming? And this limo pulls up to the plane. And he comes out. And it's Ozzy. It's like, and I'm looking through the window. And back then, there's no phones. There's no cell phones. So you can't take a picture. And you can't, there's no camera, Polaroid. So I start drawing him. I swear to God, I start drawing him. Like, all right, I got it. So my friends, like, this is Ozzy. This is what he looked like. And all I remember is he came off. He had all these chains. And I can hear him like jingling, you know, he's sitting there and he's walking, right? And he's like, cling, 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 cling. And he comes up the steps and his daughter was with him. His daughter, Kelly, was with him. And I was ready to, hey, Mr. Osbourne, Kelly. And back then there was the Osbourne show, which was the funniest and greatest reality show in history. Every week was just Sharon going, Ozzy, take the trash to the corner. And Ozzy was like, I don't want to take the trash to the corner, Sharon. I don't understand why. Just take it to the corner. And I was like, oh, the dog is just crapping all that. Just go. And matter of fact, there was an episode where Jack, the son on the Osbournes, he wanted to watch this movie, right? And Sharon goes, let me see that movie. Let me see that movie. And Jack goes, what? No, it's nothing. No, nothing, Mom. And he goes, here. And she looks at the cover and she goes, absolutely not. He's like, why not? Absolutely, it's filth, absolute filth. Okay? Now, I've always wanted to know, what was that movie? I want to know what that movie was. So, I swear to God, this is a true story. So now I'm on the plane, and Ozzy comes on, and I want to go out and say hello to him, but he sits right in the front seat. Boom. And then I felt stupid. So I was like, I'm just, you know what? I'm on his plane. It's all good. His daughter's sitting next to him, and I'm like, I'm not going to bother them. So my wife and I are sitting in the back, and I told my wife, let's sit back near the toilet, because eventually he might have to pee, and he's got to walk past me. So he, sure enough, in the middle of the flight, Kelly Osbourne comes in the back. She's got her pajamas on. And she comes and she sits next to my wife. And, you know, she's like, what are you doing here? She was adorable, really, really adorable human being. And she was very young. She was very young. Not like 12, 13, but I feel like she was in her teens. And she goes, we're talking, and, you know, we're talking about Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. And she goes, do you watch the show? I went, I have to admit, I'm a huge, huge fan of the Osbournes on MTV. And she goes, did you see the episode when me mom wouldn't let Jack watch a movie? I went, oh my God, yes. She goes, do you know what that movie was? I went, no, I've been dying. She goes, it was your movie in Half-Baked. She goes, it was the movie Half-Baked. I went, are you serious? So, and all I thought about was like, how cool that Half-Baked is on in the Osbournes. To me, that's all. I was like, oh my God, we're in the Osbourne house and Jack's watching me. This is amazing. So now comes my moment. We're about halfway through and Ozzy gets up and he starts walking to the bathroom. And I'm like frozen. And he's wearing the whole garb. He's got the glasses. Even though he's on a plane, he's got the glasses, the whole garb, right? And he's coming down the plane. He's coming down. And there's a little bit of turbulence. So he can't, even back then, he couldn't, you know, he's walking in. If the plane just moved a little, he'd be like, it set him back like another 5 seconds. And then he'd come back up, and I stopped him. I said, Mr. Osbourne, thank you for allowing me and my wife on the plane. And he's looking at me through the glasses. And I said, you know, I said, the song War Pigs changed my life. It taught me so much about our society. And I said, you know, I just want to thank you. And all I remember is he's like, I was like, all right. I got my interaction with Ozzy. And I don't know if any of you watched that concert, but that was, I have to say this, out of that concert, all the people were great. Slayer was great. Everyone crushed it on there. The female, did you guys see Lizzie Hale? Check out Lizzie Hale's performance. It was absolutely monstrous. So that's my one little Ozzy story for the great memory of Ozzy Osbourne. I'm so sorry for Kelly and Jack and all the family. You know, we forget he is an entertainer, but at the day, he's a human, and his family is human. And they lost their father, and someone lost their husband. So prayers to the family, and I wish them healing and all that.